guys. Today, our garden, what I'm gonna do today is this. It's kind of difficult working with some soil because some soil is not about alkaline soil or acidic soil or neutral soil. It's about some soils are just challenging, especially stony soils. Some plants have a hard time to grow in stony soils. Now, this video that I'm doing here today is basically for if you don't have much to work with the soil, the last options that you can utilize. So this is what I'm going to do today. So I have a spot here that I'm going to fork up. I'm going to get this bedding, creating a bed for this area, and I am going to use it to sow seeds. But today is not a sowing day, but what I'm doing today is preparing a bed for that purpose. All right, so I have a fork here, and before I do that, I have this soursop tree that I transplant, but I'm going to cut off a bit of it for it to spring back properly. Nice and pretty. Now, in that way, when you transplant trees that is a little too big, the best thing to do when you put them down in the ground, well, is a start over, is to cut them down as low as possible so they can start to spring back. All right. Now, I'm gonna fork this up now. Another thing again, especially for those planting cassava at home, if you're gonna plant cassava and you dig just a small spot about this size, choke down the sticks, they grow. To get the most out of your cassava, it does grow through hard soil, but what cassava does is that if you make a hole, say a foot square, down, when it's cassava growing and it hit the hard dirt that have never been forked, it stop right there. So the cassava don't come out big, it come out small. So to get the best result from your cassava is to dig a hole about this wide, right? 3 feet, 3.5 foot, and then go down about this, right? In that way now, the cassava will get that soft soil to run all its vein down and get as big as this, right? So that is something I decided to share with everyone to utilize, and you'll see. Make sure you utilize the McDonald timing and planting underground stuff, and also there are some apps on Google that you could Play Store that you could check out and utilize those. All right. Amen. Alright, now the thing is, some soils are very difficult to plant. Pumpkin, lettuce, even tomato, they don't have the drive, that the soil doesn't have that nutrition to push the plants to become flourishing and bear adequate amount and bear properly. So sometimes you have to work the soil and treat the soil like yourself. Nutrify the soil. So there's two methods. Other from using fertilizer and pesticides. I'm sorry guys, I don't use fertilizer and I don't use pesticides. I use organic way I'm surviving, and that is what this video is about, the organic way. So I'm going to show you two methods. I'm going to use the first method, which is a bucket of soil that is rich. Okay, so what you do with this, go back, mix it with this soil. Now another thing too for some stony ground is that this is clay. In some ways you have clay and so forth, but the same clay that is difficult now, if you know to treat this clay, it will eventually become dirt. By cutting up the clay as fine as possible, when it becomes dry, eventually die away from being a clay, and over time, like a few months or some years, it becomes dirt. Now when it becomes dirt now, it still doesn't have all the ingredients need to grow your plant healthy and strong, and this is where this come in. This is where you improvise. And all the peeling skins and carrots and all those things, that is where now you can compound it in the soil. But today I don't have no carrots and other such, so I'm going to show you another method that is also good. Now I mix it with this soil here, okay, and this here is cut up fine newspaper and cardboards, okay, and I have a little bit of salt that is from the kitchen, okay. So what you do, a little salt, and you put your cardboard and newspaper, and then you spin it up. Now, the next step is to create a drainage, a guttering around it, and what this does, it allows the water to settle around the base of the bed, right? In this way, even when there's no rain falling for a while, it will help keep the moisture in the soil. Okay. Well, what I've done is prepare a bed. Had a little bit of rich soil with the poor soil, and I also had a little bit of sodium, and I also mix it with some newspaper, cardboard boxes. I'm going to leave this bed for a few days so that oxygen can come in, the soil can come, create some oxygen, and also it will start the fermentation, right? And this here is a bucket with a tomato plant. Now when this tomato start to grow properly, I'm going to cut this right around and plant it somewhere cool, because tomato like a bit of sunlight, but it also like a cool shade. So this tomato tree plant will be placed permanently somewhere in the future. So the bedding is complete, and leave it for this like this for a few days. And I just want to say thanks for your subscription. Thanks for viewing my channel. I have a lot more coming up, right? Because I've mentioned about the coconut and how to use the blue and the salt to get the coconut there more. There's a lot more coming up in the future, but before I go, I'm going to plant here pimento peppers and hot peppers. Now, when it comes to pimento pepper and hot pepper, now if you plant them close together, the pimento pepper eventually going to become hot. Now, the best thing to plant is that know which direction the wind is blowing. So you'll put the pimento pepper in front the hot pepper, and put the hot pepper down to the back. Alright? So in that way you won't get them hot. And I'm going to plant some hot pepper and pimento pepper here together, because this is a home garden and I like pepper. So I don't mind both of them being hot. Right? So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you have learned something. Leave a comment, or if you have any questions to ask, you can leave your question and I will answer you. Right? Have a good one from Kirk.